We've another Spielberg film offering tomorrow afternoon on BBC One. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is at 2:10. Next tonight on BBC One, Auntie's brand new bloomers.
Boxing Day on BBC One.
Daddy, can we call him Fred?
Beethoven.
Beethoven, the network television premiere, Boxing Day at 6:05 on BBC One.
Imagine being old and wise.
So many things you can't do at my age. Like, go to comprehensive school.
Young and virile.
You know, when I drive down the street, everybody honks their horn.
Why do you think that is?
Because I drive on the right.
A real character.
I'm quite good looking, aren't I?
Imagine being all this and more on the Lenny Henry Christmas Show. Thursday, 8:30 on BBC One.
Passion reawakened over on BBC Two in 15 minutes in an award-winning film adaptation of Jane Austen's Persuasion. Here on BBC One in 45 minutes, we've the first of two visits to Albert Square tonight, and it'll be a Christmas to remember for some of them, for all the wrong reasons. Before that on BBC One, there are television professionals with a whole omelette on their faces in Auntie's brand new bloomers.
Chums, and thank you. Thank you for braving the unspeakable horrors of this bunker of BBC blunders to join me in unwrapping Auntie's brand new bloomers. A moving with the feline grace and vulpine cunning possessed only by that broadcasting elite who have hosted Come Dancing and lived. I still find sequins in the strangest places. I've dodged the DG's Dobermans and breached the seal on these miles of subterranean shelving where the embarrassing secrets of every show from EastEnders to Pride and Prejudice, from Top Gear to Bottom, have been stashed away by the BBC's dedicated squads of programme prevention officers. Until now. This may be the season of peace and goodwill to all mankind, but I'm afraid the ill tidings for the actors and presenters featured tonight is that the turkey isn't the only thing to get stuffed today. Do the victims of tonight's revelations really deserve any sympathy, I hear you cry? Keep yourselves to yourselves. After all, they were naive enough to think they could make a big entrance on television when we all know there's no chance of getting on at the BBC.
Oh, hello, Richard. Oh,
Is it a bat? Is it a plane? No, in fact, it's a car. Yes, not the kind of thing you'd see stuck in a traffic jam, admittedly, but stuck it most certainly would be if the traffic jam was on a rainy day. Especially designed to car. But unfortunately, this time we haven't managed to accommodate the rather large doors in BBC1. It does, however, run when the sun is shining with sun power into electricity. And every 3 years, there's a world solar power race held in Australia. The next one takes
Action. This is the nail I was telling you about, okay?
Mr. Brittus, everything went all right, did it?
Well, he's a bit more yellow than I'd have liked, Laura. No, sorry, he's a bit less. He's not as yellow. What?
Mr. Brittus, Mr. Brittus, everything is all right.
Some of the photos... Oh,
And given the lengths that I've gone to in order to get into this hellhole of a place, which, like the second series of A Year in Provence, has always had its very existence denied by BBC top brass, it's good to have my efforts rewarded with the discovery of a group of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed characters who might collectively be known as a right crowd of Egypts. These are they who committed perhaps the most fundamental of all errors which can be made by those forced by penury, fate, or strong-arm tactics from the controller of programmes to accept employment with Auntie BBC, stepping in front of the camera.
This redpoll calf was born on Monday and is one of the youngest exhibits at this year's show. In the 1950s, it was one of the most popular dairy cows, but it's declined so much that in recent years it's become a rare breed. And it peed on my arm.
Thank you, AD. Ellen.
This extraordinary roller coaster, the tallest and fastest in Britain, is just round the corner from where Labour are holding their conference. So if Tony Blair wants a white-knuckle ride full of twists and turns and sharp corners, he can just come here to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. But then as leader of a new-look Labour...
Before this plant eats me, I'd like to report that we're on this volcano and...
Why is it full?
Oh, God, I didn't mean that.
This extraordinary roller coaster, the tallest and fastest in the world, is just round the corner from...
Recent research has shown that different colours can stimulate or suppress the appetite. If I eat my meals from a red plate... delicious.
It's here the animals are rested, fed and watered before continuing on their journey. And it's only when the Ministry of Agriculture is completely satisfied with all aspects of that journey will it let the export take place. So I was right in the that one.
Then again, as Labour leader, the party on the... Whoa!
Jack Charlton will be allowed to return to the bench for the next match, by which time he should have the clarification his association is seeking as to just what he did to deserve a touchline ban here. Meanwhile, there's going to be some party in New York tonight. Rob Bonnet, BBC News at the Giants Stadium. Yo, what's the matter with you? We're trying to work.
Then again, as leader of the Labour Party, on the rise to power, he will find there are quite enough... It's getting better. Is it on? I can't go on much longer. Quick! I'm being bombarded. Right, I'm ready. Okay. Without doubt, this is the most spectacular spectating point on any rally in the world. We're on the Col de Turini, 5,000 feet up in the French Alps. It's midnight, and there are 6,000 people here.
Now then, me hearties, ever forward to examine a dangerous, insidious phenomenon, a type of behaviour so shocking, so warped, that I just can't understand it. I speak, of course, of enthusiasm. Those individuals who just need the whiff of a camera crew, and there are very few things more whiffy. For the old adrenaline to start coursing through their veins, and before you know it, they've perpetrated one of the oldest errors in the book. Sticking your neck out.
Ready?
You deliberately let him think they'd turned you down, just to make him feel awful.
Unfortunately, someone's moved the letter.
When Stephanie started the winter rally this morning, she said she was determined to finish. Well, 18 stages, 9.5 hours later, this is the final control, and she's made it. Oh, no, she hasn't. It's an ugly man.
And I would like to tell you some more news, but I don't actually have it.
Well, I do have some more. Some other business news stories this morning. No, we haven't got that right either.
Well, we've now waited 23 years for a proper diesel Range Rover. For a long time, the company was working on its own V8 diesel called the Iceberg Project, but they just couldn't get it right.
I find it very therapeutic, Ma.
So do I.
Toxophily, the love of archery.
On tonight's free time, 0 to 60, very, very quickly. On tonight's free time, 0 to 60, very, very quickly. Oh, yes. Or not, as the case may be. On tonight's free time, 0 to 60, very, very quickly. On tonight's free time, 0 to 60, very, very quickly. On tonight's free time, 0 to 60, very, very quickly.
Even
even though their wing feathers are cut so they can't fly away.
Quite fast. I don't think he's broken the record, though. Jason's done 41. That's amazing. He has broken it. I didn't think it was that fast. Thank you. Great.
But for a really staggering example of misplaced confidence, you can do no better than turn to the Green Bays, to a show which occupies almost as much space on these shelves as the 200 yet-to-be-screened episodes of El Dorado. And to a man whose talent with a trick shot is absolutely legendary. In fact, on this evidence, it's completely unbelievable.
What we're going to do is send the white ball round of 3 cushions, hit the red, and knock it in the triangle, and complete in the set of reds. And you just miss it like that. See where that's going? I'll settle for that. I don't believe this.
Here we go. This is the one, definitely.
I hope so. Have you got the idea here, Ken?
General idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's got the idea.
What we're trying to do is not that ready.
Thing is, now, if you get it, we're laughing.
It's usually very simple, this, you know. There you go. So I stay down on the shot, Ken. That's what you've got to do. Can't believe it.
Now, viewers watching in black and white may like to know that they were spared the full impact of John Virgo's waistcoat there. But please, don't think I'm concerned only with the perpetrators of the offences catalogued in these corridors. My concern is for the victims, believe me. Just look at what happens to these poor divils, particularly the ill-fated folk from Pride and Prejudice, who can never walk in front of a camera with confidence again. Such is the trauma of having your scene stolen.
It's perhaps inevitable that after all the fine weather we've had this summer, we choose today to come and film here. It's windy and it's cold, but the windsurfers love it. And it doesn't put off most of the million visitors that are now coming here each year as well.
How very fortunate. Do you know we were just on our way to Longbourn to ask after your help? How very fortunate. Do you know we were just on our way to Longbourn to ask after your help?
You're very kind, sir. I'm quite recovered this
He has played a very important role in helping the university to raise funds for a number of projects, including, of course, the ambitious 2-phase development of this large animal hospital, towards which he himself has made very substantial and most generous donations. It's very good to know that generosity is so well appreciated.
Good morning.
Oh, Daddy, you've got Fleur with you.
Oh, you noticed? Yes, I'm sorry about these ladies, but what happened was that the baby started crying and there was nothing I could do, you see.
I've been meaning to ask you, Dickie. You and Hyacinth share the same bedroom, don't you?
Yes, why?
And you sleep in the same double bed?
Yes.
You've got some nerve. I admire that. I really do admire that. OK,
thousands of women who have babies are affected by the illness every year is something the government says it recognises. That thousands of women who have babies are affected by the illness every year is something the government says it recognises, but the Health Secretary, Stephen Dorrell, and the Junior
Judge Martin Stephen QC said it was a disgrace that a matter of such public importance had been handled in this way. He said the prosecution was a shambles and he apologised to the jury for wasting their time.
Well, we've got to send that one to Auntie's bloomers then.
What was your experience of BSc on your farm?
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Oh, we've got a cow working in the other one, right in the back of it. All right.
Yeah, 7 years ago, first experience, we had 2 cows within a month of each other with this disease. Yes, about 7 years ago, I had my first case with BSE, really before anyone knew much about the disease at all. We took the cow into the slaughterhouse at the time, and they really didn't know what it was. They said, well, I think it could be this BSE.
What'd you get out of him?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, well, he said he'd rather not speak to the press. Look.
I'm a bit nervous, okay?
Beth, you've got to keep an open mind. You saw Richie's back.
He wants the 3 of us to be friends.
Very cosy.
He's a nice guy.
She's got it all worked out, hasn't she?
No, she's not like
If there's one thing for which the BBC is justly famed across the globe, it's not breaking wind. It's the passion for factual accuracy in everything it broadcasts. Hence, the desire of the head honchos to continue fooling the world and keep hidden this evidence gathered from Albert Square, all points west, that BBC performers only get into trouble when it's a matter of getting the facts right.
This man deserves some sort of medal for what he's done for the community.
I didn't do it on my own, Blossom. Why's that then? The Flower and Whittleness campaign.
Whittleness?
And before you go, you know tomorrow I've got the PRPR Persons Awards dinner of the lunch month. No, Don, before you go, can you help me? You know tomorrow I've got the PRPR Persons Awards dinner of the lunch month. Don, before you go, listen, can you help me? You know tomorrow I've got the PRPR Persons Awards dinner of the lunch month.
Richard Branson was the best holiday firm in the world, you know.
What are you laughing for? I've got my foot stuck, I can't move! Hold me, Mike. This is not funny!
Vanilla, if I could just begin by asking you, in your experience, are there many repeat prescriptions in this?
That was marvellous. Wow, you're leaking.
Yes.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it when the show starts like that. So full of Darren, right?
No, Warren.
Well, do all that again.
So, Jason, we really do need a prediction from you here. Who's going to win? South Africa or England? What do you think?
South Africa, world champions, of course, but I think England might win. I think they'll be more motivated, and they rarely lose these matches in Twickenham. So put your money on England to beat South Africa.
Good bowling from Devon Malcolm, maybe?
It's rugby, so... he's
oh, goodness, what am I talking about? Sorry, getting everything mixed up. Well, they're playing cricket. They're playing
the cricket's starting on Thursday as well.
Sorry,
I think South Africa will win that series.
Okay, Jason, thank you very much. I'll get my sports straight in a moment.
It's all balls anyway, isn't it?
You said I looked really edible in that pink dress.
You haven't got a pink dress.
Oh, I haven't.
You haven't
There's been a gas explosion at a house in Nottinghamshire. Part of the roof of the building in the village of Gibbsmere near Southall has been blown off, throwing hundreds of tiles across the street. No one has been injured.
We've got a big match tonight. Who do you think will score?
Lee Sharp.
Lee Sharp. Is he your favourite player? Yeah. Are you going to watch the match tonight? How long have you been supporting Manchester United?
6.
For 6 years? Well, how old are you?
4.
All right, thank you.
Well, what kind of a stupid question was that anyway? But leaving aside the shredded nerves of BBC reporters, because quite frankly, these people are beyond help, we must turn the unwelcome spotlight on those who seek to cover up their crimes by assuming another identity. I speak, of course, of actors. The great Spencer Tracy who once said acting was all about remembering your lines and not bumping into the furniture. Wise words indeed. And needless to say, here at old lovey BBC, they've been studiously ignored.
What took you so long?
I can't remember.
Really? I ran out of petrol. We were just talking about Gemma.
Yeah, well, I've got to go.
Well, Gary, what the hell are you doing here in the first place?
I don't know.
Tea everywhere.
Laura, when I asked you to come and see me this morning, it was because I wanted to give you something.
Oh.
I always thought this place managed itself after 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
Just picking up a few documents for my weekend break in Paris. A gift from the
Health Authority?
From the Health Authority.
Yeah, we thought it was
Very
sorry.
Hold it there, please.
Mad, you see? The whole day is going to be mad.
Lionel, your vocabulary is becoming very limited. Everyone is either balmy or mad.
Restaurant. Bad enough the last time we went there, when that key broke inside the lock to the gents. Spent the entire night sat in the toilet.
New house, maybe? On those new estates? Yes, excellent, eh?
Did you really like that?
Absolutely. We'll start looking as soon as I get back. You should take driving lessons too. You know, give you some freedom, eh? Early start tomorrow.
John McConnell and Leslie Dunlop from Which to Seaver with their own version of a bedroom farce. But collapsing furniture is just one of the hazards which can befall the unsuspecting test. Consider the case of that fine actor from Roughnecks, James Cosmo, struck down in his prime by a desperate fit of the giggles and reduced to a helpless corpse.
Stay here.
Chopper's on its way, and there's a phone call for you.
chopper's on its way and there's a phone call for you.
Action.
They're still looking for the poor man, I'm told. What you couldn't see was that his fellow actors were putting him off by holding up an enlarged photograph of the controller of programs wearing just his socks and a sheepish grin, with only a cassette of small talk to cover his embarrassment. As the contents of these dingy corridors prove, such acts of sabotage are all too common in the BBC, but one of the biggest bloomers you can make is trusting your colleagues.
Yes. I knew they were going to do something.
I knew you were supposed to tell me if I head for a hole.
Sorry.
These contraptions look pretty huge when they're out on the open road. When you come face... Thank you.
Dave, what are you doing? Investigating a case, Bob. No, that thing in your mouth. No, I've been smoking one of these for years. Now, where were we? Yes.
At least we maintain the element of surprise.
Off the cloth, moth. This is genuine funfair. Bought in the swings, paid for on the roundabouts. You're a fast worker, aren't you?
It's a tricky one, this, isn't it? Yes. It's a tricky one, this, isn't it?
Oh, Kit, come here. Pop this in that letterbox for me, will you?
How much?
You're going to grow up to be a monster, aren't you? 50p.
You makes me laugh.
It is now 27 summers since Comrade Malensky stood slightly to the left of where you are now and told me that one day a man would come into this shop and give notice of his allegiance with the phrase, "Good morning." And on hearing those words, Mr. Dalliard and I were to detonate our relatives and fly to Dover. Fly to Dover, where a man called Smith would see us safely delivered onto a goods train taking livestock to... I do beg your pardon. Mr. Dalliard and I were to detonate our relatives and fly to Dover. Fly to Dover? Where a man called Smith would see us... Mr. Dalliard and I were to detonate our relatives and fly to Dover. Fly to Dover? Where a man called Smith would see us safely onto a... Mr. Dalliard and I were to detonate our relatives and fly to Dover. Fly to Dover? Where a man named Smith would see us safely onto... Mr. Dalliard and I were to detonate our relatives and fly to Dover. Fly to...
Justin's out of your reach forever. Oh, I think not. You're boxed in, man. There's no escape. I've only to light this flare to summon the yeomanry. That would be most regrettable.
After he died, when the living he'd promised me fell vacant, the son refused, point blank, to honor his father's promises. So you see...
Yes, I think so.
Here, use mine.
Thank you.
That's all
You're
right.
very kind.
That's all right.
You're IAD, aren't you? Internal Affairs Division. That's why we're here, isn't it? You're on Quirk and Randall's case. Ooh.
got a meeting at 11.
Who put that in?
Of course, putting a trust in your fellow workers does at least show the BBC is capable of a charming faith in human nature, the sort of thing that led to Freddie Starr being auditioned for host of Animal Hospital. What's completely inexcusable, however, is that some naive individuals still insist on trusting something which will always let you down. Technology.
I don't understand it, Neville. I don't like it. I don't like this one, Jackie. I'm going to horrible. Rip off this catalogue and I'm going to put it in my mini desktop paper shredder with optional mains adapter. Absolutely. Let them try and stop me. Yes. That's a very... There.
And there's not a lot of movement on the stock markets either. In Tokyo, stocks are still down after a morning session which had very little substance to it. Dealers are expecting what's left of the let's see where we've got to.
And on Sunday, we'll find the brighter, showery weather coming along behind with wintry showers and more persistent rain. I don't believe it. I'll see you in half an hour.
What arranged marriage? Mum, I thought you said you were going to clear all of that up. What's her father got to do with it? What's her father got to do with it?
There'll be a good deal of fine spring weather to look forward to. Let's just have a quick look ahead to the weekend. Or I thought we were, but there we have the summary for the world weather, which is a bit of a surprise. And as you can see there, there's going to be some snow in northeastern parts of China. Goodbye from me.
They're coming here today to meet me in Cyber Paradise, and I'm just hoping they're going to get here soon because I haven't got a clue what's going on.
In Greece, the finance minister, Alexandros Papadopoulos, has unveiled his budget plan. Its main aim is to bring Greece in line with its European partners by the end... Excuse me, over here. Keep going, keep going. In a bit. Thank you. And don't do that again.
The showers is indicated by these bands of rain streaming in from the southwest and some heavier rainfall up in the northeast as well. I'm afraid it's going to draw another one, I think.
Richard, I know it's your first day back off holiday, but has somebody been playing around with the machinery?
I've been playing with my machine, Andrew. As I said, I like to bring you the best on breakfast news, because I know what professionals we are, but I think I've cocked up this morning.
Life is going to be tough for them. The possibility of disorder exists. On the other hand, it is plainly impossible to go on in the old way because goods were disappearing from the shops. They printed much too much money.
Professor Nova, I believe you've just lost your...
I believe printed much too much money.
Can you hear me? I see your earpiece just dropped out there. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I apologise.
No, it's not your fault at all. A slight technical hitch. But thank you for coping with it so consummately, professionally.
The author of this book, Derek Humphrey, is on the phone right now. He lives at the moment in Oregon, and he is celebrating, I think, the fact that tomorrow a new law comes into force in Oregon for the first time, legalising euthanasia. Derek, are you there? How can you be sure this new law won't legalise murder?
Well, it's not euthanasia.
Excuse me, Derek. Forgive me, but I'm going to have to ask that question again because I was listening to the wrong end of the phone.
Shocking proof there that even the most consummately professionally of presenters can get it wrong from time to time. Apparently, the phone company said the problem was nothing to do with them. I'm afraid we must reveal behaviour still more incomprehensible than putting faith in gadgets and gizmos. We have already had some examples tonight of the mayhem which ensues when overeager presenters think that somehow they're above the immutable laws of the cathode ray tube. I give you the foolhardy characters who made the desperate blunder of answering the call of the wild.
Welcome to the Cotswolds and the Great Antiques Hunt. I'd like you to meet this week's bloodhound.
It's not going to work. Come on. No, Emily. Emily!
I've got it! Intruder! Intruder!
The image is very macho, all in keeping with the wild Australian outback, where what they call rhubars were introduced to protect four-wheel drives from kangaroos drawn to the vehicle's headlight.
Oh, come on, Frankie. Come on, Frankenstein.
Check up. Evil. Oi!
Going in?
I think it's best if you...
Oh! Right, yeah. I think it was more the shock of him grabbing me than anything.
Big enough now. 3 months. Nothing at all.
Get up! Steady! Get up! Good lad! Leave him alone. Get up! Steady! Get up! Good lad! Good lad! Get up! No!
Yes, I think you could call this the Easter mood. I've got an Easter chick here, hello, and an Easter bunny, and quite a few Easter lambs around me that had to take my shoes off because they were nibbling the laces too much, to be quite honest. Get off. Bless you. Yes, I've come down to the White Coast Farm Centre in Farnsfield. Get off, get off.
I know you're probably thinking, things can't get much worse for people contributing to the BBC. I'm sorry to disillusion you, because you might want to usher the children upstairs, throw a cover over the budgie, and watch this next exhibit from behind the settee. You see, this really shouldn't happen to a vet.
Well, this kind of farm work isn't as glamorous as looking after pets, is it?
Certainly not, and unfortunately this is the sort of work we are doing day in and day out.
It's very heavy physical work, isn't it? So better on farms.
It looks... I must challenge you, sir. I think that...
What do you mean you haven't had your chipolatas yet? You think, wouldn't you, that after suffering in the trenches of BBC programme making, the despairing infantry of actors and presenters would receive a modicum of thanks? Perhaps some modest refreshment from dear old Auntie. As anyone who's ever fought the vain battle against a BBC cocktail sausage will readily agree, one of the biggest blunders you can make round here is hoping for hospitality.
Never let it be said that I'm one who bears a grudge.
Poor you.
But poor you.
Poor old you.
I think the old thing's getting me on the joke, that's all.
You're jealous.
It's Michelle that's convinced me. She knows Tricky better than you do, and she's worried about it as well.
No, it's just because nobody ever buys her champagne and roses.
Whoa!
Oh, cheers, Tricky.
Do make sure that you're not taken in by tempting offers. That complimentary bottle of champagne in your hotel room. Action. Wine's one of the very few...
horrible.
Squash potatoes. Very possibly, Eddie. I think I just sat down too quick. Oh, sorry. Lad, there's a drink coming over. In the meantime, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
So first of all, let's get on with the garlic. Now I'm using this Japanese mandolin, which you've got to be extremely careful with. Every chef that uses it cuts themselves once, but you never do it again. It says in Japanese on one side and English on the other, watch your fingers. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And what the most sensible thing to do is not actually to... Ow!
Ooh, that's smarted. And now you're probably wondering why people who have to suffer like that in the name of the BBC don't make their getaway from Auntie's clutches. If only it was so simple. Long-term inmates like myself, with a record which includes 6 years on blankety blank. No, there's really no chance of escaping from the BBC.
I'm sorry, but I don't remember signing that Official Secrets Act.
Who else did you blab to?
There wasn't anybody else worth telling it to, Grant.
Right, that's it, you're fired. As of now.
What?
Get your things and get out.
Oh, good, no, come on. Yes, you can. It's only the manager and about 15 of the staff. Come on, my darling. No. Yes, you'll feel a lot better. No, I'm not going to help you. No, you will.
File. Don't forget, Blow Your Mind is on at regional theatres across the Midlands until mid-October. Sorry, got to go now. Show's about to start.
Amanda, what are you doing in my flat? Your flat? Come to sneak. This is my flat? Your flat. Get out. But I've paid rent.
Don't go.
What?
Cindy, please don't go.
Ian, Auntie, we can't carry on like this.
Not anymore, I promise.
Do you really mean that?
More than anything. Cindy, I need you. Please don't go.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll come back. No, it's all right, Laura, I'm going.
Going where?
Brussels. Can't stop, got to get to the bank before the shop's shut.
Any time you was gone?
Yes, it is.
Well, leave your bundle. I'll see to that. And there'll be an extra place late for Mark Cobb's dinner special.
Well, mateys, now our time here is nearly done, but I just got time to tell you about this hidden camera footage at a meeting of the BBC governors. Picture, if you will, the scene. The false teeth thrown shamelessly into the middle of the room during one of their frenzied Zimmer swappings. I've been rumbled! The DG's onto me! When it's the choice between a hasty exit and hanging on to me giblets, I'm afraid I have to bid you a rapid farewell. Until next time, if there is one. Good night.
Coming next on BBC1, the first of tonight's two-part EastEnders. Boxing Day action on BBC1 starts at 2:10.
The only thing that matters is the grave.
Adventure with Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.